It's 1 a.m. You told yourself one more episode 3 episodes ago. The room is dark except for the screen. Everyone else is asleep. You are not tired in the way that makes you close your eyes. You are tired in the way that makes you keep them open a little longer just to see what happens next. You already know how this ends. You've done this before. You'll do it again next week. And here's the part that might surprise you. This isn't a willpower problem. It's not that you're lazy or undisciplined or bad at stopping things. It's that two separate systems inside your brain have quietly teamed up against you, and only one of them is doing what you'd expect. Let's start with the one you already know. Picture the scene. The credits are rolling. In the corner of the screen, a countdown appears. 5 seconds until the next episode starts automatically. Your thumb hovers near the remote. You know you should stop. You told yourself you would stop, and yet you watch the number count down and you let it. This isn't just a show, it's the extra scroll on your phone before bed. The next level in a game you meant to play for 10 minutes. The message thread you keep rereading, waiting to see if there's more. It's Sunday night turning into a full season finished in one sitting when you only meant to check what the fuss was about. It's telling yourself you'll go to bed after this one episode, and somehow it's 3 a.m. and you have work in 5 hours and you still don't fully understand how you got there. You've probably told yourself it's about the story. That's part of it, but it's not the whole truth. Here's the first piece. Every unfinished story creates a small kind of tension in your mind, a loose thread your brain doesn't like leaving loose. Psychologists have a name for this. You don't need the name. You already know the feeling. Think of it like a tab left open on your computer. You can close the laptop, you can walk away, but somewhere in the background, that tab is still running, still loaded, still waiting. An unresolved scene works the same way. Your mind doesn't fully let go of it. It keeps a little processing power reserved just in case the story continues. This isn't new, and it isn't really about television. Long before streaming existed, storytellers understood this instinct. A story left mid-sentence pulls harder on the mind than a story that's already finished. Children ask you to keep reading not because the book is objectively better in that moment, but because the sentence hasn't landed yet. Adults aren't so different. We've just traded the bedtime story for a queue of episodes. And here's what makes this almost unfair. The people writing these shows know this better than you do. The cliffhanger at the end of the episode isn't an accident. It isn't even really about the story. It's placed exactly where it is at exactly that moment because a resolved ending lets you leave and an unresolved one doesn't, so you finish the episode. The tension should be gone. Except it isn't because right before the door closed, someone slipped a new thread through the gap. That's why finishing rarely feels like finishing. The relief you're chasing was scheduled to arrive one episode later, on purpose. But debt alone doesn't explain everything. If it did, you'd stop the moment the story resolved. You'd watch until the plot made sense, and then you'd genuinely be done. But you don't. Sometimes you keep watching even when the episode is mediocre, even when you're not that invested, even when if someone asked you the next day what happened, you'd struggle to remember. So there's something else going on. And this part is a little less comfortable to hear. The thing keeping you there isn't just the story. It's the not knowing. Your brain doesn't just crave resolution. It craves unpredictability in small repeated doses. Not knowing exactly when the good part is coming, only that it might be coming soon, is one of the most reliable ways to keep a mind locked in place. This is the same mechanism behind a slot machine. Not the payout, the uncertainty of the payout. If a slot machine paid out every single time, people would stop pulling the lever almost immediately. It's precisely because you don't know when the reward is coming that you keep pulling. The strange part is this mechanism doesn't even need a reward to be reliably good. It just needs to be reliably possible. A twist might happen next episode. A character might return. Something might finally click into place. You don't need a guarantee. You just need enough of a maybe to keep you seated. Streaming platforms are not guessing about this. The pacing of episodes, the way certain shows deliberately mix a slow scene with a sudden emotional gut punch, the algorithm quietly studying which moments make people binge versus which moments make people stop. None of that is incidental. It's tuned. The same logic that keeps someone at a casino floor is sitting quietly inside your remote control. And it's not confined to shows. The same maybe is baked into your phone. You don't scroll because you know the next post will be interesting. You scroll because it might be. And that might is doing more psychological work than you'd expect. So here's what's actually happening when you say just one more. The narrative debt is what gets you to press play in the first place. It's the itch. The small nagging sense that something was left unfinished and you want it closed. But the variable reward is what keeps you there once you've started. It's not that the story keeps giving you what you want. It's that you never quite know when it will. And that uncertainty is more addictive than certainty ever could be. One opens the loop, the other makes closing the loop feel unbearable. Think of it like an engine. Narrative debt is the ignition, the small spark that gets everything moving. Variable reward is the fuel, the thing that keeps it running long after the spark is gone. You're not failing at self-control. You're going up against a system that was built quite literally by people who study exactly this weakness for a living. This is part of why this particular habit is so easy to excuse. Nobody feels ashamed telling people they binged a show over the weekend. It doesn't carry the same weight as other habits we're more careful to admit to. It's socially acceptable exhaustion, the kind you can joke about at work on Monday. But the mechanism running underneath it is the exact same one behind almost every screen you own. So what do you actually do with that? Not much good comes from just telling yourself to have more willpower. The willpower is a resource you're trying to spend in the exact moment it's already running low, late at night, tired, half lit by a screen that was engineered to keep you there. The better move happens earlier than that. Naming the mechanism in the moment helps more than people expect. The second you notice this is narrative debt talking or this is the uncertainty talking, something small shifts. Autoplay works so well specifically because it's invisible. It slides past your decision-making entirely. The moment you see it, it stops being invisible. But the real leverage point is even earlier than that. It's before you press play at all. Decide your stopping point outside the loop, not inside it. A decision made before the show starts, I'm watching 2 episodes tonight, is dramatically stronger than a decision made after episode 2 ends, when the countdown is already running and the next hook has already been planted. There's a second layer to this that's worth mentioning, because it's easy to overlook. The environment matters as much as the decision. Autoplay exists specifically to remove your decision point, so the removing autoplay puts that decision point back